Fire base error?
Right.
No, what?
And Zwingli
Oh,
up
okay,
and
you're
it
fine.
went away.
very strong
You're good.
sense
Okay.
of Christ's presence
Fire
in the
base error,
assembly.
does that mean you said something, you launched the nuclear weapons?
Yes.
Somebody crashed your firewall.
Well, it's not the same,
That's
but
not a
it's,
good thing.
but it's not,
People aren't
Realize
supposed to
that
know
it's
we
a
have those
slant.
weapons,
we
right?
should not use that.
Do you want to
Simply
play
just use
a
it and
game?
just stop it. Because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to what's.
Okay.
to-
This is
to
being
them,
recorded, you
as-
can't do that, talk about that stuff.
Oh.
I think it's there.
Secrets. The Indigo Girls are singing that like, let's go.
I agree, and we must go now,
Yes.
wherever they are singing.
Wherever they are.
Your first service as a pastor should not be.
Saw the Indigo Girls at the Bronco Bowl
Right,
in
right.
Dallas.
Yeah, you might be able to do some good work there. We gotta show all.
I peed in the men's
As long
room,
as you're.
because the women's room
Willing to
is
accept
9
them.
miles long, the line.
There we are. Don't presume you know that.
I'm sure you weren't,
Nobody in the men's room.
sure you weren't the only one. You were suggesting that was a reaction to the Indigo Girls singing. And I don't have that reaction.
No, it's just, there were. Just need to sit here.
Were you just
Well, you know, I think
There were a lot of women
That's a great Girls concert ever.
Usually I do.
That's how, but it was that long ago that it was at the Bronco Bowl. That's like a whole generational Dallas thing.
That's what Bauhaus will just say.
Yeah, man, there's yesterday.
Do you have time for it?
It's a very part-time job.
Okay. So they say.
Here, this, look at
How many
this.
services we
I
have?
refunded French.
Okay.
I think just.
So we have
Okay.
Kimberly,
I am going to ask that we go ahead and start.
Brent.
I thought the service was at 11, it's at 10:45, so we will have to break up here
Somebody
at
who orders
10:30.
patches and stuff.
So,
Yeah, no big deal.
We need to not,
Um,
wait.
Diane,
The next person on the agenda is Brother
you
Dwight,
need your friend.
but we can skip ahead and it could be you, Sister Diane.
I'm ready.
When did
Okay.
you get this? March 31st.
Wait a minute,
That's
we have
my
liturgy
phone
that
on
says, I am ready and willing.
I'm ready.
We're going to go ahead and start, Sister Jeanette.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just need a minute here.
Let's go.
So, I did
We do have
this.
session this afternoon though still, right? We
If needed, yeah.
We still have council this afternoon.
The afternoon session,
And then I searched,
uh,
not there.
let me get to my right,
At 1:30.
at 1:30.
Okay, so we're
So
not.
we don't have to
We
go
don't have to
through all
finish
of
it
it.
Right, that's all.
Because I think we have a couple meaty reports, and I don't want people to feel they have to
There's
hurry.
nothing there for the 31st, except for somebody purchasing baubles and beads stuff. Jim, wait, French. This is all from, he was the first one to register,
Right.
yeah. Okay, and of course, Abbott, you, Scott, back in February.
Yeah, Scott is.
What are they doing down here?
I know.
See, he was back in February.
I think they
This
did
is
down
March.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. We don't think anything there.
Yeah, I will. Mhm.
here.
So who's been to a concert recently of anything? What'd you go see?
Most recently, the Dallas Opera.
Last year.
Who's the last rock show we went to?
I will. Yeah. Thank you.
Magnetic Fields.
Oh.
Very tiny little theater, very awesome show.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Next
I
month, we're
am
gonna
gonna
get
use
the,
my mom.
Ted come from the Fairmount one.
I didn't know that.
It's the
What
latest
is he
iteration of the
having?
Rachel Dead
That's, I figured that's
Okay, I'm
something.
sorry, Abbott, I
with
have
John
on your
Mayer.
roll.
Brother French says he needs to unmute.
Is he starting?
He's here.
Okay.
Well, he's not the first being called on, so.
You're not the first one.
I already called on Diane.
Or do you
Oh,
wanna
good,
do
okay.
that, the Brother French thing, or do you wanna do me? It's up to you.
We can do Brother French. I think it's not gonna take very long.
Yeah, yeah, well, he's here.
It is Brother French, though.
With love in your heart.
I hope
With
you
love
have
in my
us
heart, Brother
know.
French.
What do you wanna do? Sister Diane?
No, we're gonna do Brother French.
Oh. All right.
Brother French, are you there?
Yes, I am.
The information
hear
you
me?
sent, Yes, we can. The information you sent yesterday arrived safely, and I ended up reading the revised paragraph, so people have heard that. So, I just wanted
Okay.
you to know that much. People have seen what we said, and I gave a little background on why we needed to say it. But I did not want to go ahead and
Okay.
act on the changes until you were with us.
Okay, well, if you've done that, the background is what I was wondering about. If you have given them the background, then they know why we're doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
That I did yesterday.
Oh, you did that yesterday. Okay.
Well, after your resend came in and everybody, I could read it, so thank you for sending it.
Sure. I don't really know what happened. You know, I was sure I had sent it, but maybe I had neglected to do that, and I apologize. At any rate, the idea, and just a quick review, the idea was to deal with a specific situation that occurred, but not just deal with that, but take the opportunity to deal with membership in general and how we might handle occasions of membership, both becoming a member or rejoining the order and leaving the order. So, if you know, I can't easily ask who has any questions. I guess is what I have to say.
Who hasn't what?
Who has what? Your question wasn't clear.
Questions.
Oh,
Who
anybody
has
have
questions?
The question is interesting.
I have a lot of questions, but not related to this.
I'm seeing
Well,
no hands.
okay. Well, then, as the keeper of the Constitution and the bylaws, I move what is before us.
And as the keeper, you don't need to have a second on what you propose. Therefore,
Right.
one last chance for questions before we go to a vote. No hands moving? Now we'll move some hands. Those who are in favor of adopting the bylaws as you heard them read to you yesterday, please raise your hand. Is there anyone opposed to these changes? Your changes have been unanimously accepted, Brother French.
Okay. Now, what I will do is I will change the heading to say as adopted rather than as proposed, and
Right.
send that to who wants to get it in order to get it online.
Brother Scott,
Brother Scott, would that be you?
That's me.
And
Sister
it
Jeanette.
can,
Okay.
it'll get in the minutes.
Yes, Sister Jeanette needs a copy.
Right. Okay. That's literally only a change of the first page, you know, and well, I'll take red out in the rest of it because it's now been approved.
very good.
So you know, I will use my Visine for. Never mind. Guess it gets the red out.
That's a great joke, Brother French, I got it.
I did too.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Thank you for your
Yeah.
thank you for your patience with me and my lack of being able to get it to you in a timely fashion yesterday. I apologize for that.
And at least so far this morning, we are blessed with fairly good response time on the computers. So whatever was making a mess of yesterday might be somewhat resolved at least. So,
Well, I hope so. But your screen is frozen. I can hear you, but I can't see you, but you're not moving.
We're not very active in the morning.
you would only be able to
And
see.
No, everybody's on the
We're all
screen.
on the screen.
We're all on
Okay.
the screen.
How does it
Um,
sound?
With that,
The owl sees us all.
with that, thank you to Brother French. I would ask Sister Diane for
Yes.
her report, please.
Well, you can read what I wrote, but I am more interested in having a brief conversation about ways that your pastoral care officer can be of pastoral care help to any of you and ongoing. I mentioned a couple of ideas about having Zoom office hours and then maybe a quarterly online Zoom healing service. But Facebook is kind of my nemesis. I don't like it. When I get on it, it's hard for me to get off. It's like a drug. But so I don't like just trolling through Facebook and seeing what needs are out there. But I will do that if that's the only way for me to kind of keep in touch with people.
What is the best way to communicate? Through email?
For me, email is the best way,
Okay.
or text, or phone call, any
Okay.
one of those three. Brother Scott's not in big favor of this. I thought about trying a Discord. I'm on 2 Discord chats right now.
Killing
they-
me, Smalls.
What's that?
Said you're killing me, Smalls.
I know. But Discord is it's a simple app where you can have a chat room or a messaging area. It's like any other messaging thing. You can have a channel just for pastoral care. I can show you what I'm talking about at some point, but I think for our younger members, it would be an easy way to keep connected. I'm in this group called Weird Methodist Discord. And we have just a channel that says prayer requests, and you can, if a new one comes in, I get a notification on my phone, and I can go in and see what people's prayer requests are. So yes, it's another app that you would have to add to your phone, but it's very easy to use, and it's I'm more than willing to set it up. So, and you can use it on your computer as well.
Could it be linked to the website? Because I'm never gonna remember to go look at,
Yes.
I could remember to go to stluke.net and click, I have a prayer request, but.
Will you put it on the website?
Yeah. As long as I don't have to maintain the Discord server, yeah.
Yeah, I would maintain it. I wouldn't be.
My question would be, how confidential is that?
0.
I mean, you would have to be invited to get into the St. Luke. But, yeah, you can direct message someone. So, yes, in that sense, the prayer request would be confidential to the members of the order who join the Discord. But you could also private message me through the Discord.
So, yes, you have to be invited, but if we want anybody to use it, we would probably have to make the invite public.
Yeah.
Because
But we could see who is, just like a Facebook page, we
Yeah,
could
it's-
see who is part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have a little bit of gatekeeping on the Facebook group. We would need some kind of gatekeeping on the Discord server.
Yeah.
But am I right that we can just IM you,
Yeah.
Yes, I think.
which would require no additional software
No,
anywhere?
and I think that's
Just,
fine, it's just, I'm, just like in a congregation, I hear about things and people don't, like I heard about Brother Guy, that was the first I heard of him, was today. If someone had thought to let me know earlier, I could have been in contact with him earlier. And if people don't need that, that's fine, I don't know how to make myself more available.
Could you put a reminder in the next font that goes out? I don't know to what extent people read that carefully, but that reaches a lot of people at any rate.
How to reach me with a pastoral concern?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
a simple way is we could put a form on the website that just emails you, but there would be spam involved in that.
That's okay.
I mean, if you want to do a Discord, that's, yeah, and I don't have to,
You wouldn't have anything to do with
He feels
it.
rather strongly about this. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I get that.
I just feel strongly about not having more avenues of communication, because I know in the corporate world, that just means the organization breaks down.
Yeah. But I do know that with our younger members, they're not using Facebook.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that's the answer either. I'm wondering, as we talked about email addresses at st-luke.net, can we have pastoral care at that would just forward to wherever you need to read it.
Mhm.
And is that better than a form on the website, or is the form better?
So we could do
Spam
both.
wise?
It would be exactly the same.
Yeah.
That would be a real effective way, I would think, to do it. Straightforward.
And if we can do these office@stluke.net emails, that just makes the world, because my Gmail account still gets publications orders.
I started a Gmail for the chaplain general. It gets a lot of spam. I'll hand it over to you.
L-mail.
Right, sounds like we have,
L-mail.
Right, so I
Solution.
won't do the Discord, but if you can connect me through the website, Brother Scott. So I did make more work for you, but.
So Brother Jonathan said that he doesn't think many younger folks are connecting this way via email either. He thinks Discord server is a good idea.
Did you retort back with boo?
I'll put that back then, all right?
I mean, mostly it's me not wanting, I mean, I share Brother Brent's concern that the more avenues of communication we have, the more we fracture into isolated islands. This is a well-documented phenomenon. And then there's the technical load of maintaining and managing. So, right, it's just, that and I just have a passionate hate of Discord, so. Of all of the choices, it's the worst.
I've never even heard of it before, so I don't have a passionate hate.
I think it's where you go if you want to share state secrets.
There you go.
Are you gonna share things? You're a young person who's in the military, somehow connected to top secret,
That was
So
on
I-
Discord.
and would like to share them with your friends.
And then Jonathan just said
State
there's
secret
Slack.
issue was on Discord.
In the
Oh,
Weird
Discord.
Methodist group that I'm a part of, the Weird Methodist Discord, I've got two people who are interested in the order, who I met through that group.
Yeah.
So,
There's Slack.
Yeah, and that's what he just said, there's Slack, which is similar to Discord, but more corporate facing, corporate
Both of those
structure.
names are so 90s sounding. Slack.
So, I just want you to know, Sister Diane, that, and I'm not trying to be defensive here, I'm trying to defend you a little bit. I hope you don't feel badly about what you don't know, until you're omniscient. You know, you can't do much about that, right? It depends on people to contact you. I told you about Brother Guy a day after I knew it.
okay.
Right, so that there was no not communicating on that. And some of this, I think, has to do, we remember, some of us remember Nancy Camp, who came along and hung out with us on various retreats, and she and Boyd Gaffigan would go off and do non-religious
Yes,
things, you
yeah,
know, while we were.
Oh, boy.
They were doing good works.
Right, yeah. But some of this depends on other networks to communicate, which is.
Right. And to me, it's just, you know, like I said, I don't want to insert myself into anyone's life. I just want to make sure that the order knows that you have a pastoral care officer. I'm thinking about offering some time during the retreat that I need to talk, just for people who want to talk about anything, to meet me out in the courtyard. And I think having healing services every time we gather is also a way that I can serve.
And Chaplain General here.
Right.
Thank you. What do you think about the other two ideas I had about Zoom office hours or a quarterly online Zoom healing service?
No reason not to try it. You know, I think if you do the office hours and nobody's coming for, a month or 2 months, and unless it's just a good excuse for you to get rid of other things, to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in
I'm in a
office hours.
meeting.
Yeah. So by then, by all means, go. But as somebody once said to me at NAL, just fly up the flag and see if anybody salutes. Fly it up the flagpole, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I dislike Discord, I'm a big fan of FAFO, fool around and find out, just try stuff.
That's so not what that means.
but it's okay.
It will do.
I PG-13 it.
Now I'm curious.
Our first years cannot. All right, I'm hearing mixed information about the Discord. Why don't I try the St. Luke web and see what happens and go from there.
And come back at the next meeting, and if we need to try something else, we'll try something else.
And if I feel so inclined, with your blessing, I'll try the Discord
Yes.
sometime between the two.
Discord was so May 2023,
Right.
I think you have all of our permission to try things and see what works best.
Can I have 10 seconds before we go to the next thing?
Yes.
Apologies for being late. I was on the phone with Sister Barb, who says she misses you all and finds it so deeply strange to be not here at this time with you all. She had cataract surgery yesterday and sounds fit as a fiddle and bouncing around and stuff, so everything seems to have gone very, very, very well, so.
Good. Sister Barb.
Barb Lee, so she wanted to pass on her greetings, so that is both my apology for being late, but also greetings from her.
Very good, thank you.
Our love to her.
Yes.
Brother Dwight, we skipped over you to Sister Diane. We will come back for your report on daily office revision team.
Oh, yes. Well, I think most of it has been given already, as a matter of fact. I wanted to share about the work that we've done on the corrections on the Psalter. Give me a minute to wake up here. I had talked with Abbot Elizabeth. I would like to get a supply of Lucan Psalters in for next fall's retreat to sell, and I think the way, I mean, we don't really have a bookstore anymore, but I think it's important for the life of the order to have those and to make it easily available when they're there. So I think what I will do is just order some on my own recognizance and bring them. If anybody has any idea about how many I ought to, or if Abbot has a better idea.
Well, since Sister Kimberly is here, I was going to wonder if she would be willing to have us place the order with her as the receipt address.
For sure.
That makes it easier for you than flying them across the country. And we can have them sent to the retreat center, but there's always some risk in that of them coming in and people not knowing what to
Yeah,
do.
that's what I was going to do, but I was a
See them
little
on the
apprehensive.
show.
If Sister Kimberly will do that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Very good. I continue to be very, very pleased with the results of our labor, and some of you know that really, it started with the Book of Offices and Services, so it really went over a long period of time, and we were reminiscing just that one of the latter meetings when we decided, no, let's wait a few months, we need to go through this one more time, and we actually chanted through the whole thing at a meeting in wherever it is that I live.
Place.
In a place.
In a place.
In a place.
West.
In place,
Out
yes, that's
west.
what, you can see right there that that's where I am, in that place. So anyway, and I'm absolutely delighted on a personal note, that we have all learned how to chant and just pick it up and go down the pipe. Some of you have been around long enough to know that when we started, it was rough. And,
When you taught me, it was rough.
we had a Schola Cantorum tutorial at the beginning of every retreat and council meeting, you know, I think about how far we've come, so it makes the old man very happy. I've also spent a good deal of time over the last year with the Revised Common Daily Lectionary, 3 years, integrating the scripture readings. We were talking this morning at breakfast about Sister Fran Bollinger, who was the first, well, I guess the second person out of the lot. The first one was now Sister Ruth
Megan,
Yeah, but she got absorbed in copy editing the Book of Offices and Services, so the lectionary didn't get very far. And then, of course, Sister Jeanette, who is now here, picked it up. But that's a huge job, just a huge job. Okay, we had the revised common lectionary daily readings, but they're not assigned to morning and evening prayer. And the way they deal with psalms, as some of you know, is it's, a psalm for the week, and that just,
Yeah.
we need a richer fare than that. In the process, you discover some interesting things, as Brother Scott and I have. It's not just 365 days a year, because you've got these seasons that overlap, the extra weeks after Epiphany and after Trinity or Pentecost that show up. And I ran into one just last week that some of you will be interested in. In year C, I think the team that was working on the revised Common Daily Lectionary gave up. And at the end, I discovered that in the middle of the week, right before Advent, so the end of year C, before Advent, goes through Wednesday, and then it just stops.
So
Now,
funny.
there are years when Christmas
Fasting
is
from the
all the
daily
way
office.
up, you have to provide for the whole week, even though it doesn't happen very often. So I go back to the original things from the daily lectionary, and I come down, and it has it through Wednesday, and it stops. And then there's this little notation in parentheses. Refer to the lections for year A. It's like, wow. So
We got tired, we did.
So we did too, so anyway. And I hope we can find some way to get those in there. I was going to bring this up just with Dork, but I think I'll bring it up here. Brother Scott was talking about our need to put 4 things in. I'll just give you my opinion. My opinion is that the incipits, what it tells what the passage about, that is useful in a listing of the whole lectionary, so you can see what's happening along the way. I don't know that it's at all particularly necessary for daily readings. I don't need to know what it's about. That's the only one I'm going to read. So I'm suggesting that we at least take under consideration that we wouldn't need to put that one in. We would put the morning reading and the evening reading and the psalm for both. But I don't think we need to put the incipit in. Would I have general agreement to that?
You're not gonna tell us what you're gonna tell us before you tell us and then tell us?
No.
Okay.
Find out on your own. So, I think that's it. What we're going to do primarily at the end of this session is just try to get the hard work of getting Watto spruced up. I mean, there are all kinds of little things that remain to be done, and if you have prompting of the Spirit of the way in which you can help us, why let us know. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep muddling along, and it's a huge job.
Waddling along.
Waddling.
The waddle.
That's my favorite Star Wars character.
This tells you I've got a 5-year-old in my house. I just thought, do you have any grapes?
Hey, man. Got
Do
any
you have any
grapes?
grapes? Yeah. There's a waddle song that,
Oh.
and the character comes up and says, hey man, do you got any grapes?
Any grapes?
And my sister Sue knows that, although she doesn't have a 5-year-old.
There's so much.
Fingers on the pulse, the upcoming
Children's
generation.
ministry.
I think if your report is finished, we will move along, and Brother Mark, I believe you are up next.
My turn, all right then. Let me get my head on straight here.
Page 19 of the book report.
Thank you, sir. And that I know. Okay, some of this some of this you know, because I've told you already, just about my interesting year, how that has affected my life. Still very excited about this project. I come with 2 specific requests, and then I'll make some general requests after that. And I've been working on these, but I would like to get some sense of all this before I go in terms of calendaring. We've begun to do a little bit of this. So one of the things I want to do may sound very tedious to you, but I'm convinced it would be helpful to us. I would like to develop a list of all the people who've ever been members of the order. This will be incomplete. Understand, none of this, if you have to have things finished, this will frustrate the innards out of you. But no, this is an ongoing thing. It will be incomplete, it will be imperfect. But it will be helpful, I think, to, if we can, and I think we can, to develop a list of all those who've ever been members of the order, even for a little while, and approximate dates. One of the reasons I like this is, for instance, it's a fascinating question to me that we speculate, but we do not know who the first female member of the order was and what her name was. Okay, this I would like to know, or begin to have some sense of who it was and when it was. This would be a way of beginning to track down that information and not to guess about it, but actually have some documentation about it. So I want to do that. And I think so. There are various lists around. I've got some of them, and yes.
Well, I sent you a list yesterday, and I know you want the entire list, but that includes those who have been removed and those who have passed away. Do you want all of it?
Yeah, all of those are good, okay. And we'll just sort of, and my dream is to get some people, maybe some folks in Dallas, probably, and just figure this out and figure the data, get the information we have and start to work with it.
Okay, because I think in total there's 1,005 people, and then of course Abbott Elizabeth has the box.
Yeah, and I want the box.
You want the box.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. I want to go live in the presence of Torvald's box, for a while, and then figure out what I can learn from the box also. There are other lists. I mean, for instance, if the Versicle, of course, which was the publication, from 1951 through 1964, and to get a sense of the Versicle, maybe some of you have looked at it a little bit. I showed you little snippets of it, when in my presentation back in October of 21. The Versicle is kind of combined functions of, it had some font-esque kind of things in it, okay? It's anachronistic to go in that direction, but nevertheless, some things that we would put in the font now were in the Versicle. Some things that we might have published as Sacramento Life articles, and we had that, and we were in the Versicle. And even, I think, fair to say, some of the articles might have risen to the level of what we might have put in doxology, in the Versicle. So it's all in there. And one of the one time along there, at least once, they published a membership list in terms of where they were at that time in the Versicle. That's how I know that Jim White was a member for about a year, as a student pastor, and then that kind of lapsed. I think it lapsed. We'll learn more about that. So I just, that's sort of a tedious little project, big project that I would like to have, and I'd be interested to know if there are people that are interested in working on that with me. I don't even know exactly what I need to do. I'll look at what you've got, that you've sent me.
Right.
I want to get out to California and look at the box. And there are probably still interviews I need to do out around Pilgrim Place as well while I can. That's the one thing. The other, so.
If you come visit the box, you have to take it home with you. That's a requirement.
That's the requirement. I will take it back to Dallas and we'll eventually try to get it to,
Get out for a picnic.
well,
Visit the
If the
box.
ox cart stumbles, you can't touch it.
Right,
Oh,
right.
all right.
Good morning.
Well, thank you. So that's the one thing. I will say, one of the reasons why I'm still working is that this fall, SMU, who has been wonderful on a number of levels, has gifted me with a research leave. So I've really got a lot of time here between now and Christmas that I can put pretty much whatever I need to, in there. So my calendar is very open. I didn't tell, after Sister Margie's knee replacement surgery, which is scheduled for June 14th. I didn't get that far in the story yet. So we got to get her through that and the rehab and see where things are, in terms of calendar. But after that, after she gives me the green light, after that, probably from mid-July on, I can go where I want to, till the end of December, right? Well, and the other thing I want to do, it's probably around retreat, because that way, just saves on travel costs. I think I'll get east then, and I'd like to figure out a time either before or after the retreat to come to New Jersey.
Okay.
And come up with, and visit Madison, but also, I want to collect some people. I like to hear about Fran Ballinger, but also Karen McMartin. So one of the things I do know also is that Sister Karen was the first female general officer of the order. We do know that factually, and that in the late 80s. And there's still, unfortunately, I didn't get to, she died rather suddenly last summer, and I'd hoped to visit her, and then my summer kind of blew up anyway, but I had hoped that I could do that, but that's obviously not accessible now, but there's still lots of people around who did know her, and one of the things I'm looking for in this is not only what did they do for the order, but I want to get a sense of who they were in a little wider sense, and so I want to kind of work that out and get to New Jersey and do that, and Sister Jeanette, if you can help me figure that out and run interference with Fran Knoll and all the people who need to know I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right, I may be from Texas, but I mean, I'm really not from Texas.
I know.
Although I got, Texas gets a bad rap, I mean, really does. We're not all Greg Abbott. Right.
I don't know.
Karen is also the last person to maintain membership records on paper.
Who was, did you?
Karen McMartin. Jeff Blackman came after her, and he computerized us into a very bizarre database program.
Which we don't know where that is.
Oh,
we know where it is?
Weird database.
Is that?
if I have an old computer, there's a chance that the data's on there, but I translated it into Membership Plus.
Right.
And I know I have those files, and then Scott had those files,
Scott had logos,
and he put it on logos.
and I had logos dumped into Servant Keeper.
So you've got the succession, as
I
it were.
think. I also
Okay.
have a thumb drive with backup, some kind, it might have the Membership Plus on there.
Okay.
I'll have to open it and
Well,
see what's on there.
send me what you can electronically, and then
Yeah.
when I come,
Sure.
we can look at other stuff.
Sure.
If we need to. But those are my two requests. I want to go to California and see the box, and I'll take the box home,
Okay,
and interview whoever I need to out there, and also I want
okay.
to come to New Jersey, and I think probably the best time will be in and around the retreat. I may decide that that's not the best time, but as long as we can
All right.
talk and start to
Yeah.
kick some of that around
We
again
can
after Sister
figure that
Margie's
out.
through her stuff.
And we can gather the chapter together, because we're all over the place. So
Yeah, just a conversation, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, no,
you know,
I get you.
the thing about this is, this is first level historical work a lot of times, where we're not, people don't always understand, I'm not asking them for finished work on this. I'm just asking for the stuff.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
just
the
want to get
stories,
the roots.
you know, and if we decide to shape it into something more formal than that, sometime we can, but we just need the stories at this point, and the stuff, and the archival stuff, and you write history out of that, as it were, when you know, when you actually do it on a more formal sense. So that's kind of it. I owe Brother Jonathan some things. Again, I still have not, I really need to round what I did in 21 into an article, and it just shows where my life has been. I haven't done that. But I intend to, and will. That's another thing. And I want to do, are you there, Brother Jonathan?
It's me, Margaret.
He was, wasn't he?
Oh my God. He had emotions today.
Anyway, I still intend to send him some pieces periodically, just, you know, for the periodical, for various historical pieces, which he may use as he wishes, obviously, as the editor. But I hope to develop some of that. Then my constant list, which I will just sort of read to you, on page 21. And when I say this, I'm talking about you. So insert you know, into this. I've had some people transcribe interviews for me. Carolyn Tanner has done that. Sister Jennifer in Dallas has done some of that for me in and around a very busy life. You might enjoy it. I can create a little box for you and send you interview recordings and such if you would like to just transcribe. And again, don't worry about getting the transcriptions perfect. You just do the best you can with them, and right, you know, and then I often go back over them and perfect them a little bit. But that you know, you have to kind of think of all this as stuff in process, you know, all the time. It's not going to be perfect. You just get it as well as you can. Anything you've got, printed materials, you know, if you think it's something that we should see that is of historical significance, and presume it is, right? You know, even if it's not earth-shaking, right? It doesn't have to be about a council meeting. You know, just if you think it's significant, I'd like to see it. But your own written accounts too, you know, and on that, open up a file. And just start writing things you remember, you know, about the order. Does that make sense when I say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
You know, if more of you would do that, that would be a huge help. If you've already got stuff. Volunteer to conduct interviews, especially in and around the sectors of the order that you've known and experienced. I really would like some things. And one of the chapters that was quite generative in the life of the order was the East Ohio chapter. And, you know, while we can, I'd like to have.
It doesn't exist anymore.
I know it doesn't. It did, you know, this starts to go to thesis now, but you know, you look at how formative the chapters were, you know, in the life of the order. You know, meeting regularly, often discussing books, or even having members write short papers and present them, and being together for the office and the Eucharist on a regular basis. That was the formative nexus for the order. And I think anytime we talk about filling out the forms and checking the box and disparaging that, we need to understand that existed in many cases. I mean, there were some people just out there doing that, but it also existed in many cases in and through the chapter that were, in fact, a formative nexus that was quite effective. You know, in some cases, and East Ohio, I think, was one of those. New Jersey was another one that was very effective. And people came in through the chapter and learned that there was something else they could join, you know, as a result of that. Anyway, I'd like, you know, so Brother Daniel is going to interview Brother French about that, but any of the rest would yes.
I'm thinking about the Garrett chapter. We had a lot of people join from the Dwight Vogel chapter.
Right.
Yeah.
But
to get some stuff on that.
But just just start to write your own memories. You know, I really, don't make this too formal. You can make it as formal as you want, but don't worry about it being formal or finished. Does that make, again, I keep saying, does that make sense? I hope it does. Again, encourage siblings, yourself included, dear reader, to write and submit short or long, informal or more formal accounts of your experiences within the order and in living within the dynamics of the rule of life and service. Everything is welcome, all of that is welcome. Also need volunteers to do research assignments. I just gave Sister, what's that?
Yeah, that sister.
No,
That one.
Sister from Pittsburgh.
Kimberly?
No, not Kimberly, the other one.
Sarah?
Sarah,
Sister
thank you. Senior, I have senior moments at times. But I'm asking, she is, she's going to the Central Pennsylvania Conference Archives in Lycoming. The Historical Society is meeting there. And I just said, find out what you can. If you find anything about Romy Marshall there, I want to know. And so, she's doing that. So if you're willing to, I always have research assignments that I'm willing to give people. And if you're willing to take one, I'd be willing to give you one. Yes?
I just wanted you to know, Brother Mark, I was very happy that you were willing to share with me a copy of your report from the anniversary. I've kept a copy for the archives, but I've also put a copy in a notebook to keep in the file folders so that it's easily accessible for anyone who really needs a refresher on how we develop, because I thought that was a very important piece of our anniversary. You filled in a lot of blanks for, like me, who joined in '06, and others, I'm sure, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, I need to just write that in,
Yeah,
a little bit better, and,
no, it's fine.
but every rock we turn over, we find more,
Yes,
stuff
yes.
that we could look at. So just send me stuff, just open up a memories file and just start writing, your memories of being at council meetings, and the quirky stuff is just fine, because that's who we are. So, that's my report.
Thank you.
Any questions, thoughts?
Thank you for doing the work.
Oh,
Yes.
it's really kind of fun, so.
I just have one thing I thought of as you were going through. The person who probably knows Karen McMartin personally the best will not be in New Jersey. It's Rich Wittig.
Well,
And he spoke to Rich.
You've already talked.
I've spoken to Rich. I may go back and see if there's anything more after I talk to some other people.
Okay.
He's the one who told me, he remembers Karen showing up at the meetings that the New Jersey chapter had. I got some pretty good stuff from Brother Rich on the New Jersey chapter meetings and where they used to have them and some of the arguments. And
She
he remembers her as being the first.
And she was my roommate at my first ever OSL retreat, which was a New Jersey retreat.
Mendon?
No,
Ocean City?
down in Ocean City. Thank you for your report. We should turn now to mid-morning prayer. Sister Jeanette is leading us.
Page 34 in the Red Book.
Thank you.
That's right. Let us be still and aware of God's presence within and around us. O God, come to our assistance.
O Lord, hasten to help us.
Glory to the Holy and Blessed Trinity.
One God, now and forever. Amen.
The Holy One be with you.
And also with you.
Holy Spirit, come upon us this hour without delay. Pour out your graces on our souls. Let tongue and soul and mind and strength proclaim your praise. Set our love aflame by the fire of your love, and may its warmth enkindle love in our neighbors. Empower us with your presence in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Praise God, all you nations. Laud the Most High, all you peoples. For God's loving kindness toward us is great, and the faithfulness of God endures forever. Alleluia. Glory to you, O Trinity, most holy and blessed, one God, now and forever. Amen. God says to us, I will draw you from far and near, gather you from your exile and bring you home. I will wash you with fresh water and make you clean from all that defiles you. I will give you a new heart and breathe a new spirit into you. I will take away your heart of stone and give you a faithful spirit, my own spirit, to lead you, so that you may walk faithfully in my ways. You will be my people, and I will be your God. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Save us from the time of trial, and deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Living God, in whom we live and move and have our being, guide and govern us by your Holy Spirit, so that in all the cares and occupations of our life, we may not forget you, but remember that we are ever walking in your sight. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Let us bless the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Amen.
Sister Kimberly, I think you brought copies with you.
Did, I brought 3 full copies, if that's helpful.
One for the record.
Yeah, I need one, please.
And would anybody else like a full copy of the bylaws?
Oh, right.
We will have one here if anybody decides to come and get it.
I assume it'll be available on the website shortly.
Yes.
Well, I think it needs to say amendments adopted.
Yeah, this
This
will
says
be,
proposed.
Oh, okay.
and it still has the red print and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so we need to get the corrected
Yes, I'm
copy.
going to send that in today.
Thank you, Brother French.
And thank you, Sister Kimberly, for doing
Yes,
that.
thank you.
The next thing on the agenda are periodical reports. We talked yesterday with Brother Jonathan. I don't know that there is a report from from Sister Cynthia on the font, other than whatever we have in writing. The second thing for Sister Magdalene Ruth is report on Companions for Life members. And there is a brief report on page 14 of the book, and I don't have any information from her other than that. Are there questions or comments or things I assume Sister Magdalene Ruth is not on the call, is she? Any feedback we need to give her or questions we have for her? I think it's probably self-explanatory.
Thanks to Brother Frank for reaching out. That was really nice to get in that little email loop.
What page is her report on?
14.
Thank you.
May I ask, just because I don't know, when did Sister Magdalene Ruth start in that position?
When
Last
Brother
year.
Frank
Was it?
resigned, it was last year?
I think it was last year.
I think
Last year.
Okay, so she's just, in a
She's
sense, she's just
new on it, yeah.
I think it happened simultaneously with his retirement and a move, and then she picked that up.
If there's no other discussion on that, then we go to the last of our reports, which is the report on the novitiate. And
Brother Junior's friend also has a report.
Could I, before we move on, could I just ask when the last font came out and how often it's supposed to be?
Oh, I have a copy of it somewhere.
It's supposed to be 4 times a
Pull it
year?
up.
but it's not necessarily being 4 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I can look later when I can go.
I'm just trying to figure out, the last one, I have one from December 22. And that, I'm wondering
That
if
may
that's
be
the
the
most
last
recent
one.
one.
Could be.
Was that the last one?
I don't know.
I don't know, let me,
We've gotten one.
let me see if I can find her.
Sister Jeanette and I did go to the membership records and made sure that all the
You're in
boxes
there.
were checked correctly, and your email was spelled correctly, and all the things we could figure out to look for, and everything looked good.
Okay.
So, don't know what's happening with it, but, yeah.
I know I just got one copy, whatever, but I'll search and see when she sent it, if I can get that going online. But I didn't get any, I don't think anything else has come out, so.
It's been a while. We will check files after we're off having our agendas on our screens. Brother Jim and Brother Daniel, I will let you two do a joint.
Why don't you go ahead, Jim? Or what do you think, it makes more sense for me to go first?
I'm getting out of this.
Let me just get the highlight here and say that what is printed in the report here from April until now is out of date because we have had several new inquirers that are not included in this. But it does give you an idea of some of the places that people are coming from. 23 states, the UK, South Africa, and one in Italy. And I looked up the one in Italy on Google Maps as the address, and I would like to go interview this person.
I'll interview the South
In
Africa
wine
one.
country, you know, and anyway.
You could be his companion for
You could be his
several months.
It might be an intensive time.
I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's an option.
But anyway, Brother Daniel and I and others, while here, we have been working on some things. Brother Daniel.
Yes. I didn't pull this off the wall out there, but it reminded me that evolution takes place and it's a very long process. We're related to to this, like.
Stardust romance.
And we are much higher, I suppose, higher functioning, but it's alive. And the Order of St. Luke is an evolving reality. And part of that evolution is this thing we're calling novitiate-like, lichen. So it's evolving. And we started in August of 2018. We discovered that what's happening is we used to be, in an earlier incarnation, a community of face-to-face chapters, which we are moving away. I don't want to say we're moving away from.
Supplementing, yeah.
We're adding other dimensions, but we don't have as many chapters as we did. And we are now in an age where we are digitally cyberspace available to people, and that's how they're finding us, largely. And what we were faced with is we had many people interested in the Order of St. Luke, but they didn't know anybody. And so they didn't have a face or a voice. They only had this website or a Facebook group. And they could go online and fill out an affirmation form. But, well, you know what that leads to: people who are signed up, so to speak, but they have no sense of the community. So that's why we're involved in this time of inquiry, and then if they move through that, a time of discernment, final discernment. In 2021, I think, Sister Barbara Lee and I and others began to think about the companion process. We were putting people with a companion, but that was kind of not working. It depended on the quality and willingness of the companion to engage with the inquirer. Some notable ones around the room here did that very well. Jim reports that many of the companions, even though the expectation or hope is that they'll report to him, so he kind of knows, did this person complete the time? Did they come to a discernment about whether to go on or not? He doesn't hear anything. So there's some real gaps. We came up with an idea of doing a cohort thing, but it didn't happen. So I decided, this is unacceptable. We have got to do a better job. Even if it's ragtag, rough and down and dirty, we're gonna have cohort groups. And we had our first cohort meeting with roughly, I don't have the number now, I think it was 10 people involved on 2 different nights, because I couldn't get enough of them into one to really be significant. So we're going to meet each once a month for the next 4 months. In September, we'll complete this, whatever this first cohort thing is going to be. It was rich to be a part of that, to hear them talking about how did they come to know about the Order of St. Luke? Why did they want to pursue something? One from Michigan said, I kept seeing prayers and things that had, whoever the writer was had OSL after their names. And she said, I sort of began to feel like must be my people. So that was her characterization of how she got into this. So it was interesting to hear those stories. We started working on the rule of life and service in a conversation, and I'm going to be sending out to them some preparatory work for the next, and we'll do this each time, so that they are engaged with doing some reading or thinking or reflecting. We're going to deal with the story of the Order of St. Luke next time. So there'll be content in each one of these, but largely question, dialogue kind of conversations. I want to say that by way of background, or maybe I shouldn't say background, we do not want to supplant seminary chapters like at Perkins, or other chapters that, like Trinity in Texas. Those chapters that are functioning, that's where the formation and process of initiation into the life of the order would take place. This is to supplement that in a digital world. I don't know if you have questions. We very much need companions. And Jim and I spent part of yesterday listing people that we think can be companions. Thank you to those of you who already are, Sister Heather, Sister Kimberly, Sister Diane. I don't know, have others been companions?
If you're not, it's a great experience. It doesn't take all the time in the universe, so it's manageable, but it deepens your own understanding of the order and participation in it, so I can't recommend the process enough.
I was that, I think, didn't you set that up? Were you part of that, George, when it was first set up?
That's a different kind of companion. Those are more like companions to the chapters, to the geographic areas, jurisdictions.
Okay, so,
As opposed to like one-on-one companions with new members.
okay, that's what I was comparing it to. I did a crappy job on that with you.
You were at one point
Yeah, I'm just.
provincial companion
Yeah,
for
whatever. Yeah.
Michigan and Indiana.
I was thinking of, I was comparing that to that, so when I heard companion, that's what my mindset was on, and
Yeah.
that's why I didn't respond to you, Heather, even though you contacted me 4 times by email on the same day.
I don't know why.
And I thought she sounds kind of urgent.
I meant to do it only once, the computer chose to set it 4 times.
4 or 5 times, so I.
Wow.
Kind of urgent, so.
Yeah, no.
Get back to that.
That's something flaky that's going on in the room.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And being a companion, oh, sorry.
I was just going to suggest the possibility of Sister Heather putting something in the font in terms of a testimonial.
Why I like being a companion.
Testimonial on the rewards of being a companion.
Particularly if someone sends me an email to remind me when I get home.
We'll put Jim in charge of reminding
Okay,
you.
if you remind me, I'll do it for the gym.
And seeing the juxtaposition of 2 people right there. Sister Heather loves doing it one-on-one. Sister Kimberly is open to do, I'll take 4 or 5 at a time. We'll get on a Zoom call and we'll talk together. And so there's different ways and different approaches to being a companion. I've companioned some people who took a great deal of time because they were looking for something more akin to kind of a spiritual director, and I suckered for it and worked on that. Brother Larry Kane, I spent a huge amount of time with him. I think I'm getting into the same kind of thing with this Robert Moranke in Cape Town, South Africa. But it's interesting. I mean, without saying too much about him, he's an Anglican priest. For some reason, he's interested in the Order of St. Luke. I don't think part of what I need to communicate him is we're highly irregular. We're not, probably what he imagines a religious order to be, but we'll find that out. I don't know. Anyway, it's just really interesting. I think being a companion is being attentive to a person where they are, what their agenda is, what the questions they're asking. And if you can be attentive, I think you can be a really good companion. Brother Mark.
So how did the friend in South Africa, what did he say about having found us? Where did he find us?
He found us on the internet.
Okay.
I can ask him more specifically about what it was that attracted him.
I'm gonna ask Brother Scott this one. So we had a guy at Perkins, AJ, who was South African MSM student.
Oh. And Anglican.
And Anglican, and eventually became a priest.
Did he?
I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. I think I knew that. And in South Africa. So could be that he at least heard tell of us.
Yeah.
Through.
Well, that might be. I'll find out more.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm curious about is in the U.S. when I hear somebody's an Anglican, my antenna go up, and I think I think I know something about what that is, but I don't know what a priest in the Anglican Church in South Africa. I don't know whether those antennae are the same.
I don't think it's the same.
It's not the same.
That's code word for conservative or arch conservative sometimes in the US.
Well, that's a sidebar, but anyway.
I just wanted to share that.
The Anglicans, not so much.
I just wanted to share that some of the phone calls I get from people who are seeking the healing group are feeling the need to be connected again since the pandemic to something. So that may be why you're getting the need for spiritual direction when that's not what you're really doing. Because I think people are looking for that, and they're looking for a community that isn't a church. So that's just been my experience from the phone calls I get. And and it's funny because sometimes when I finish talking with them, they say, boy, it sounds like I would really like to be part of your group, just from what I've, explained. So I just think people are lonely and looking for connection.
Well, and I think what we heard, Jim and Heather was on there, and Kimberly, some of the people are, with what's going on in United Methodism and the disaffiliation stuff, they're just fed up. And they're looking for something that feels whole and healing and isn't bogged down in all of that garbage. And some of them explicitly said that. So
that may be something we want to put on our website.
I'm sick of the garbage.
A polite way of saying that we are welcoming of those who are tired of, the strife they're experiencing in their
Transcend denominational.
Tired of the Methodist Church, not yet ready to join the Episcopal Church.
Well, I'm just, there's,
Well,
we have welcoming statements, but.
I would take us back to what Brother Dwight was saying yesterday. I think if we do that, we need to use the statement that was designed here that says, we welcome all who can take our vows and who accept as brothers, as siblings, all who are here. Because I think some of the unhappy people would want this to be conservative.
Yeah.
And they're gonna find it a less comfortable environment than they might be seeking.
that is one of the concerns that I have in this process is how do we convey and create a situation or a setting in which people can realize this group is diverse, but its openness is such that if you're looking for an axe to grind, it's not here.
Right.
Go elsewhere.
That could just be part of part of one of the cohort or a planned discussion between the companions, like, hey, like this is ecumenical.
Mm-hmm.
We have straight folks, we have queer folks, we have single and married, and if you can't, call a sister, brother, sibling, this may not be the right order.
Right. May I add to the conversation for a moment?
Is this Sister Hilde?
Yes, thank you. If you can hear me, I joined the Monday night. I joined the Monday night and Tuesday night companion session, and it was clear to me, and this honestly is an echo, I think, of Brother Brett's message yesterday. Folks in ministry, in this world, in this climate, are, because we are dispersed, they are in a wilderness and they are searching for a spiritual home. And in these small groups, it's possible to, you will see, if we're on Zoom, clearly the diversity of folks who are willing to hear their story and walk the journey with them and explore. We had prayer, we had evening prayer together. And that in itself says this is who we are. This is our liturgical life, our spiritual life. And I think that is what was attractive to me, to the order, looking for a place to have that spiritual, worshipful life that was not in the church where the work was happening or is happening. So any way we can put faces together, people together, storytelling together, they'll know who we are. That's part of the inquiring process. And I am still thinking about those 2 nights and those individual faces I saw, and I'm praying for them. And I think that there's a lot of, that's part of who we are. It's part of our role, right? So that's my comment.
Thank you, Sister Hilda. She did. I don't know, are there questions or comments? I don't need to care. I don't think Jim and I need to carry this on longer. We do ask for your prayers for what's going on and your participation. If you're asked, I hope you'll seriously consider being a companion.
I didn't return your email, but I do accept an invitation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Yes, it does.
Just thank you for all the hard work you're doing to make this a good and healthy process for everybody. It's appreciated.
The item remaining on the agenda is new business. We do have a council session that runs from 1:30 until 3. We're not obligated to use up all of that time in a meeting room. But my suggestion is that we save the new business item to begin at 1:30 back here. That gives you time to get ready for the 10:45 service.
It is our closing Eucharist. It would be lovely if we processed in.
During the prelude, during the opening hymn,
Which do you prefer?
I don't think the first hymn is a good processional hymn, so I would say I'm happy to figure something processional-ish for you all to come in.
Okay.
I love
She's a
these.
professional processionalist.
I like the new word.
All of these academic stuff.
And actually taking English classes in college.
What
I have an
resources
English
do we
degree.
need
I have
with
deemed
us?
her worthy to create words.
We can play the, da, 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 da.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
gosh, well, I heard that
Okay.
40 minutes on Saturday. Make 2 rows, people.
What resources do we need?
All of them.
All of the above, thank you.
Red book, song book. No, not the little skinny one.
Okay, you don't need your digital.
I am hoping to get in
Psalm will
and
come out of the Psalter,
send that list to Brother
As
Mark.
long as I know what to bring, I'm
and the
fine.
hymns will come out of the red book.
Is Brother
I'm
Jonathan
happy.
still there?
So,
I need to ask him a question.
Brother John, we need to be ready to process in at 10:45?
Yes.
Brother Jonathan and Sister Jeanette.
Yeah, hey there.
Did you have the mailing list I sent you?
I did. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Okie dokie. See y'all later.
I'm trying to get Brother Mark's mailing list to him.
Real fine.
This morning.
This morning.